Today I wanted to start a new series for my channel that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and I figured I may as well just do it because if I don't start now, when am I gonna start? K-pop collecting 101. I wanted to talk today about binder sleeves. There's always that question of what sleeves to get and where you can get sleeves. I'm gonna go through all of the sleeves that I use personally, and hopefully this video will help someone who is starting to collect or has been collecting for a while and just likes to watch videos like this. I don't know. The first sleeve that I think everyone will tell you to start with if you are starting your collection has to be the good old 9-pocket sleeve. This is the average size majority of artists use for their photo cards, unless they do some type of extra, but your safest bet is to start off by buying yourself a nice pack of these. Depending on how many groups you collect for, you might want to get maybe 50 of them, because trust me, you could probably go through quite a few of these, especially depending on the way that you lay out your cards. If you want to get creative and have it by era or whatever, or if you use a whole sleeve and you collect full group, you know, there's tons of reasons why you could use 9-pocket sleeves. They are just clear sleeves like this. I use the Ultra Pro ones. I know BCW I think has some 9-pocket sleeves, but I also want to say that there are Walmart brand 9-pocket sleeves that you can get from Walmart. They're in the stationery aisle. You will literally overlook them, and it usually says trading card sleeves. They are clearly different from the Ultra Pro one. These are way thicker, so yeah, these are thin, but they get the job done. The next kind of pocket would have to be a 1-pocket. I use 1-pockets mainly for binding binder dividers, as in for each artist that I have. I, of course, decided to be a little extra with my sleeve and make it very unique. But that's just me. You don't have to do this, obviously. Most people just get a piece of printer paper and write the artist's name and call it a day, and that's fine. But having a 1-pocket sleeve is always a go-to. There are so many different kinds of 1-pocket sleeves. You can buy them anywhere. You don't have to get the Ultra Pro or BCW brand sleeves. You can get Avery or Target. This is a Target brand sleeve. I'm sure Walmart has Walmart brand sleeves. Like 1-pocket sleeves are just so common in use in offices in general, so you can really find these anywhere, and they're probably the most accessible sleeves that you're going to find. There is another kind of 1-pocket sleeve though, and that would be the comic book sleeve. They're more for those things that aren't quite as wide as the standard 1-pocket, which would be this. Clearly these pictures would kind of move around in this 1-pocket sleeve, and it's just a little tighter fit, and they're kind of hard to find. I've only ever really been able to find them on Amazon. Like, just fits in here perfectly. And then the BTS concept book little mini posters, they fit in here perfectly, and it's just a nice snug fit. All right, next we have 2-pocket sleeves, and I have 2 examples of 2-pocket sleeves. These are generic sleeves. I cannot even tell you. It says cline.com. No idea, but I found these really, really cheap, and I got so many of them for a really great price. And this was back when I was first starting out with collecting, and I didn't really know about BCW and like Ultra Pro. I just kind of bought 2-pocket sleeves because I saw them and I was like, yes, perfect. These aren't the biggest because, as you can see, there is this little gap in here, actually wasted space. So it was just my luck that these happen to fit in here perfectly, but this is an example of a 2-pocket sleeve. And then I have these BCW ones, which these open from the top, whereas these open from the side. Another difference. And you just slide whatever card you have into the sleeve, and these are the same width as the comic book, so these are just like a little bigger since they are generic, I'm pretty sure they're still on Amazon. If I can find the link, obviously I'll put it down in the down bar. The first kind of 3-pocket sleeve I'm going to show you is this one. You have 3 sections and they're perfectly like this. These sleeves are great to have if you have a group that has like bookmarks or things like this size. I wouldn't say this is a very common need for collecting, so it's definitely not something that I would say go out and buy a bunch of them, because not many groups have things that require this type of sleeve. I literally have a really big pack of these because I don't really have to use it often. 4x6, 4x6, and then a 4x6 going horizontally. So the way that I used it, for example, is for this Astro layout I made. They had a postcard in their album Dream, and then I used the advertisement and I cut it out, and then this was a sticker that came with it, and I like this layout. It's very nice. It comes in handy. The most confusing part for me when I first started collecting and buying sleeves was the 4-pocket sleeve. Oh my gosh. When I first bought a set of 4-pocket sleeves, I bought the Ultra Pro ones, not realizing that the Ultra Pro ones have this sliver right here. You see that? That is wasted space. And you cannot get anything in there. You can't lift it up. You can't like cut it and try and make it bigger. That is pretty much just making these smaller. BCW does not have that wasted space on the side, and if you look at it like this, it also has a little extra on the end. So there's tons of space in the BCW in comparison to the Ultra Pro. And to show you examples of this, I have my Infinite Date cards. And these are slimmer, so they fit perfectly into the Ultra Pro. It's just the perfect fit for them. BTS, who had their Wings era Polaroids, and these are much larger Polaroids. These are not your standard size. But this was my biggest confusion. Like, I bought the 4-pocket sleeves thinking that it would fit the Wings era cards, but it didn't, and I was so shook by it. Like, I didn't realize that they were different sizes. The things you learn, okay? Which ones would I say are worth the buy, though? I would probably, just to be safe, get the BCW brand 4-pocket sleeves, because then you don't have to deal with the frustration of knowing if something will fit into the Ultra Pro ones. But if you're more picky about how your cards move around, you might want both, just to make sure that, you know, you have your option. And the last sleeve that I think everyone will need is a magazine sleeve. Perfect for wrapping signed albums. And they come about this big, which is the size of like a Billboard magazine, or I think they're called like Time magazine or Life magazine sleeves. And if you get the biggest one, you can always cut it down to size to fit whatever size album or whatever magazine you have, and you just tape it down, make it look really nice. And yeah, if you plan on buying signed albums, or if you have really rare albums, it's great to keep them in perfect mint condition. Now I'm going to tell you about something that I recently purchased that has been literally a lifesaver for me. Here on YouTube there is a user. She did these videos about how she made custom binder sleeves, and she made some really cool ones for one-on-one, and she used this little fusing tool. I bought this in hopes that it would help me to make custom sleeves for my binder. And I have to say that this was probably one of the best purchases I've done this year in terms of helping my collection. Just so I want to thank her. I know she doesn't know who I am, but thank you. Because I would have never gotten this tool if I hadn't have watched her videos. I use that tool for many purposes, and one of them was to secure some sleeves. My notes from Love Yourself Her, I decided to keep these in my binder, and because they're so thick, they oftentimes left these sleeves kind of wide open. I decided to seal up the top, so these notes pages are really secure in here. Other things that I have done with the fuse tool is make very many custom sleeves. SF9 postcards that came in Feeling Sensation. Okay, these are huge, and they do not fit in the BCW sleeves, they do not fit in the Ultra Pro sleeves, they do not fit anywhere. This is an Avery one pocket sleeve, and I used my ruler and my tool, and I closed these in here, and my life has been so much easier. Before, the way that I was storing them in my binder and keeping them in place, I had tape. You can still see it. I didn't want to pull it up because I was scared it was going to rip the card. It was just so annoying. The BTS epilogue cards, best of BTS Korea edition, little articles from a J14. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it definitely adds some spice up to the life of my binder. You can see these are all of the sleeves that I use in my binder, and I really hope that this helped someone. Also, introducing you to the tool, and if you haven't started your binder collection, I totally suggest doing it. Like, it's so much fun collecting, and the collecting community is just so large, and seeing other people's collections and watching your own grow is just a great experience. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Maybe I can never fly. 저기 저 꽃잎들처럼